What is going on, trainers? DrumVillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go PvP content, and Niantic has finally announced some moveset changes coming with the new season of Go Battle League that starts in less than 2 days. Not only that, but they've announced the schedule of cups that's going to be coming up week to week in Go Battle League, as well as the Legend pose and outfit that we're going to be working to unlock at Legend rank this season, as well as the new moves that Pokemon are going to have access to that they haven't had access to before. So a few interesting things in here, and let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. Now, I'm going to move fairly quickly because all the information I'm going to cover here is available on the Pokemon Go website, which I'll leave a link to down below if you want to check that out. So for the rotation of cups, I'm not going to go into that in too much detail, but it's going to be working in roughly the same way the last couple of seasons have, where there's one league in for a 2-week block with other side cups coming in every week. So we've got the Great League in for 2 weeks and 2 different cups alongside during those 2 weeks, and the Ultra League for 2 weeks and 2 different cups week to week. Now, the first thing that looks a little bit different about this season is that rather than a Go Battle day, we're going to have a Go Battle weekend. So both Saturday and Sunday, the 1st and 2nd of July, we're going to be able to do 100 battles per day. Now, I don't really have an opinion either way on whether this is better or worse than Go Battle Day. I'm happy for players that are able to get more matches in, if you can't do the exact same day as what Go Battle Day falls on. So I guess the versatility is nice, but also this is going to be quite easy to get burnt out on. 100 battles in a day is quite a lot, depending on the cups that are available. So over 2 days, that could really get tiring. And also they've confirmed that it will be a paid timed research again, which I disagree with. I think it should have stayed free. The fact that they charged for it on the last one was pretty upsetting to me. It's one of the first things I've not paid for in terms of event tickets in Pokemon Go, and I think they really should reconsider making it charge. I know it's only $1, but to some people that's more than they can afford and what they're willing to put on this game. The cups available for this battle weekend are going to be the Master League Premier, which I quite enjoy, and the Great League Single Type Cup, which is a new format I don't think we've seen before, and I'm quite interested to see what that looks like and how it's going to play out. It sounds like it'll be unbalanced, but you never know. It really does depend on what type they pick and what bands they introduce, I guess. Moving on, Niantic have also confirmed that there will be an event around the time of the World Championship Finals. We don't know the details of the event, but there will be Great, Ultra and Master League available during that time, and there'll be triple Stardust rewards available as well. And any battle-themed event they want to do, I'm excited to see what it is, just hoping they don't drop the ball with it. Up next, we've got the guaranteed reward encounters that you get for hitting certain ranks in Go Battle League. Originally, this was MEDICHAM as the first encounter. As veteran for the last couple of seasons, we had Noibat, which felt very daft, since Noibat doesn't really have any play in Go Battle League, and since we've had Community Day, people aren't even wanting the shiny check anymore. The rewards now looking a lot more PvP oriented, with Excadrill, Axew and Gible all being very strong in the Master League. Squirt's Evolution Greedent is strong in the Great and Ultra League. Gumi is quite niche play, I think, in all 3 leagues, and of course that elusive Pikachu Libre at Legend rank still. Naturally, following on from that, we have the pool of encounters in general available as you rank up overall, and I think this pool is massively improved from previous seasons. I think it's one of the biggest improvements actually overall that I've seen so far in this list, because it's now going to include Marill, Gligar, Wingull, Nosepass, Meditite, Onix, Wobbuffet, Frillish, Lickitung, Mareanie, Phantump, Scraggy, Wooloo. Everything in here is PvP relevant except probably Phalanx, oddly enough, which I guess it's just there because it's a fighting type, but overall, very interesting list of Pokemon available, and those random encounters you're going to be getting throughout the season are going to feel a lot more rewarding if you're looking to build any of those Pokemon for PvP still yourself. Also, by the way guys, if my voice sounds like hell, it's because I am not well. I've got a killer sore throat right now. My voice is absolutely shot. I just wanted to get this video out to chat to you guys about this, but I'm sorry for the audio quality in this video. Niantic have also confirmed that the Go Battle League timed research pass will be back again this season, which is the 5 pages of win 100 battles to get Stardust and an Elite Fast Elite Charge TM, which isn't bad, you know. It's free. It's nice to give you a sense of accomplishment as you're gradually grinding through those wins over the season. But now, let's take a look at the actual avatar pose and outfits that we're all going to be grinding for Legend rank towards earning. It's going to be based on Clay from Pokemon Black and White, which I never played personally. I didn't actually play Generation 5 myself, but we've got what looks like a bit of a cowboy outfit, and the pose seems to be them checking the watch, which I guess is Clay's pose in game, but honestly it just makes me think of when games are lagging and you just sat staring at the clock wondering when it's actually going to resync up and you're actually going to get to throw your charge move, or one's actually going to come through, or whether you just stuck frozen and have to close the game or whatever. Maybe they're being a bit tongue-in-cheek with it, I don't know. But either way, pretty interesting, unique outfit and pose. Quick look now at the actual different cups and formats that are going to be available, and a bit of a description on what the limitations are for each of these cups. Most of these we've seen before in some form in different seasons, and I'll talk about them a bit more in depth when they're coming up in rotation. Now, one of these cups I found a little bit confusing, and that's the single type cup. When I first read this, I thought it meant that they were going to pick a type and only that Pokemon type was available, and I thought because they were banning Cresselia and Deoxys from this cup that it meant that it was only psychic types were allowed and that it was mistyped to not include that bit of information. But what I think it actually is that it's just single typing compared to dual typing. So anything that's a pure typing of whatever it is, so pure ghost types are allowed, pure psychic types are allowed, pure water types are allowed, but anything with two typings, like Swampert being water and ground, Venusaur being grass and poison, Skarmory being steel and flying will be banned, but pure flyers like NOCTOWL will be allowed, pure steels like Registeel will be allowed, and they're just banning Cresselia and Deoxys, I guess, because they figure that they're going to be overpowered in that kind of meta. I'm not 100% sure that that's going to be the case, but they are strong Pokemon anyway, and maybe they know what they're doing with those bans. I don't know that meta in depth too much myself on the fly, can't lie. Rest of the cups, we've got some returning favourites. We've got the Retro Cup, the Fossil Cup, the Remix Great League. I believe the Fantasy Cup's back as well in the Ultra League. That's going to be ideally quite a bit of fun. But let's talk about what we're all here to see, and that is going to be the changes to move sets in the new season. The new moves and what changes they're making to existing moves to rebalance PvP overall. We're going to be getting two entirely new moves overall. For Go Battle League, we're going to be getting Liquidation, which is a water type charged attack, and Leafage, which is a grass type fast attack. Now we know that Liquidation does 70 damage and has a chance to lower the opponent's defense, and we just know that Leafage does 6 damage. We've got no idea what the energy per turn is, so we can't really say right now whether those moves are going to be any good or not, how strong they're going to be, what the potential is. We do get a list further down on what Pokemon are going to be able to learn these moves that will be coming up. So taking a look now at the movesets that they've actually changed. Now there are no nerfs here. There's no nerf to Wing Attack. There's no nerf that's going to affect Medicham. What they're going for here is buffing other moves. They're rebuffing Icicle Spear. They're buffing Poison Fang's damage. They're buffing Rollout's damage. They're buffing Mud Bomb's damage. And what they seem to be going for here is rather than making the strong Pokemon weaker again, they're looking to make other things stronger to compete with this Pokemon. Rollout's damage being slightly increased is a nice buff for Dunsparce, which was probably its biggest drawback, was that Rollout just couldn't really put any fast move pressure on Pokemon. Poison Fang's buffing its power rather than its energy cost is a nice middle ground, because they did nerf the energy cost of Poison Fang a couple of seasons ago. Buffing Mud Bomb is going to be good to help deal with Stunfisks, as well as Seed Bomb getting a nice buff which will affect some of the grass types out there. Definitely looking forward to some changes and a new meta in the Great and Ultra League for sure. Right, new move availabilities for certain Pokemon. This is interesting. There's a lot of changes here that are definitely focused in helping to combat certain Pokemon, as well as helping some Pokemon really shine that they've tried to make more viable before and maybe fell a little bit short on. First up, Drill Run on a low and Sand Slash is absolutely huge. That's going to be a massive improvement from Bulldoze and really going to help it threaten those steel types much more effectively. Fairy Wind on Clefable is going to entirely change how it plays. It's got access to Meteor Mash. It's got some nice charge moves it can take advantage of to really have some strong play, especially in the Ultra League, giving Wigglytuff a bit of a faster charge move as well to keep that pressure on when it's in its matchups. Golduck is going to be getting access to the new charge move Liquidation. We have no idea how that's going to affect it until we actually know the stats of that move, but Golduck already has a pretty interesting charge move set, so that's going to be good to see how it makes it even more versatile. If Dewgong wasn't interesting enough already, it's now going to have access to Drill Run and the new move Liquidation, so now it can threaten the steel types, the rock types. It's got much more versatile coverage available to it, and these aren't going to be legacy moves either, so to have a usable Dewgong, you're not going to need those double legacy moves anymore. Also getting the new move are going to be Cloyster and Vaporeon, are both going to get access to Liquidation. Cloyster a bit of a slept on pick overall in Go Battle League. Vaporeon never really had much play, and I don't think Liquidation is going to change that. Togetic getting access to Fairy Wind. I believe the main thing holding Togetic back was a decent fast move, so that might have some interesting play in the Great League. Quagsire is going to be getting access to Mud Bomb, which is a bit of a side grade because it had access to Earthquake before, which is a very strong move, but Mud Bomb's going to make it a lot more spammy, and with its damage buff I think it's going to have a lot more play overall in the Great League and probably the Ultra League as well if you're going to XL one. Tyranitar is going to be getting access to Brutal Swing, which I don't think is going to change much for it in terms of PvP. Or had access to Crunch, which was a pretty solid Dark type charge move, but it's definitely going to improve it in PvE against gyms and raids, so definitely want to be looking out for that. Krayley getting access to Rock Slide is nice and interesting. It's a little bit more spammy than Stone Edge, but I don't think it's quite as energy efficient, so a bit of a trade-off there. And we've got a few more Pokemon getting Liquidation. That's going to be Armaldo and Floatzel. Drifblim's getting access to the Mystical Fire move that was introduced with Delphox's Community Day. That's going to be quite interesting. It's going to give Drifblim even more play in the Great League and Ultra League, and it was already very, very strong. Both Snova and Abomasnow are going to be getting access to the Fast Attack Leafage. Again, we don't really know the energy generation of this move, so it's going to be hard to judge how big of a difference that's going to make to them. They're already very strong in general, but if it's going to improve them even more, that's great for Abomasnow users if you've got one built. Probopass getting Zap Cannon's a nice move for it for sure. I think that's going to be a strict improvement over Thunderbolt on it. Heatran getting access to Earth Power I think is big. Heatran is massively underrated in the Master League overall. It does have a bit of a disappointing moveset that it struggles to perform with. Earth Power is a great addition to it. Really helps it threaten the meta up there in the Master League overall. Samurott learning Liquidation. Is it going to be better than Hydro Cannon? Probably not. Whimsicott learning the new improved Seed Bomb, Caracosta getting access to Liquidation, Emolga learning Acrobatics, which isn't really going to change it too much. Electros getting Liquidation, Litwick getting Mystical Fire. No other member of the Litwick family getting Mystical Fire, which I think is a little bit weird. Maybe, I'm not really sure what they're thinking, just giving Litwick a move on its own, but whatever. Beartic also going to be learning Liquidation. The entire Rowlet family getting access to the new fast move Leafage. Again, no idea what that's going to do for it. I believe Decidueye is going to be pretty interesting overall anyway, especially once it gets access to Frenzy Plant, so maybe that's going to buff it preemptively for that. Primarina getting access to Disarming Voice, again a little bit faster to get to than Moonblast, so probably buff it a little bit just in terms of getting some extra charge move pressure out there. Fermantis and Lurantis getting Leafage, Galissapod getting the new move Liquidation, and finally Ursaluna is going to get access to Ice Punch, which means it's really going to be able to threaten those dragons like Dragonite and Garchomp in the Master League and the Master Premier. And that's the rough gist of it. What are you guys most excited for in these changes? Personally, I think Mystical Fire Drifblim is going to be absolutely awesome in the Ultra League. I'm really looking forward to getting a chance to try that thing out. Of course, I'm a little biased. Drifblim was the Pokemon I featured in my first ever video on this channel when I first hit Legend Rank in the Ultra League using Drifblim, so, you know, I'm happy to see it get a little bit more chance to shine again. But as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch all you absolute legends in the next season.